Greetings. Welcome to Live Ready Beyond Think and Grow Rich with your host, me, David Ibarra. Every other episode that we have, we're going to take some time and talk about one of the principles of success. What makes it available for us to get what we should and could have in life? I couldn't think of a better place to start than the first principle, which is the power of our own personal thought. When you think about it, we get what we think. If we think we can't, or we're going to have something that's difficult, and you begin to hear the little whispers of Dr. Doubt, what happens to your mind? You begin to look at all the reasons you can't achieve something until you'll validate it by failing. If you have the opposite thought, I can, then you begin to look at all the opportunities and ways that you can achieve exactly what you want, and you believe it. You see it. One of my favorite quotes in life really articulates just what it is, these two state of minds that we experience. Some see things as they are and say, why? Woe is me. Why is this happening to me? Others dream dreams that never were and say, why not me? I can achieve that. The power that you have in controlling your own thought will take you anywhere you want to go. Now, thought can be negative and it can be positive. So you must be careful at what you think of, because you're going to get it. So we're the only animal on earth that's been given the gift to control our thought. It doesn't mean that most of us do, because the fact of the matter is we don't. 87% of society has difficulty in controlling their thought. They live in the bounds of maybe I can, but I don't think I can, and they drift. But 13%, they're goal setters and they're score keepers, and they always get what they want. We can learn to do this process if we want to. It's offered in my book, Live Ready Beyond Think and Grow Rich, and it's the first chapter. And I'll tell an example of one individual, same person, same brain, but he had two different thoughts. In the first half of his life, he had some thoughts that were negative, and it took him to some bad places, prison. And then he adjusted those thoughts and came out and learned to control them. Today, he is running one of the most successful services in America. That individual is Dave DeRocher of the Other Side Academy. So let's think about it. It's not just thought. How does the brain process? 80% of our brain is the subconscious, and it gets seeded by our conscious with thought. And it's going to do whatever you told it to do. It does not know the difference between right or wrong. 5% of the brain is the imagination. That is where all the action happens. It goes up and grabs a hold of the emotions that match our thought, negative and positive, to make them so. Now, the engineer of this process is the conscious, which is about 15% of the processing. And once we learn this, we can achieve whatever it is we want to. Now, there's certainly other things involved in thought. There is the dose chemicals that are produced when we're in a positive state of mind, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. And there's the negative chemical that's produced, cortisol, when we're feeling stressed. There's the reticular activation system of the brain processing that prevents us from allowing new information in if we don't consciously question why we think what we think. And then the fourth element is learning to not listen to Dr. Doubt, who whispers to you, doubt, free. He gets access to our thoughts free of charge. And how to connect to infinite intelligence or your reticular activation system where all the positive information is stored, if only we're willing to ask for it. Now, that's the first principle of learning to live ready. It all starts with thought, because until you pivot to a positive state of mind, you won't have the desire to do anything different than what you're doing now. So that's our message of today. Learn to live ready. I work at it every day, and I'll be very direct with you. I'm in a negative state throughout the day. I just don't stay there. I control the bounce, and 80% of my day is belief thought. So please join me. And thank you for listening, and I'll see you next week.